And welcome back. Well, there's nothing easy about talking to your aging parents about giving up driving. So, how do you know when it's the right time, and what do you say? Well, today we're going to have tips to start that conversation and offer suggestions on where to find help with transportation.
Ruth Busalaki is with Synergy Home Care to talk about what I think is a very difficult conversation to bring up with your aging parents or grandparents in some situations.
Correct. We hear that an awful lot, and we hear families say, I have to take away my mother or my father's keys. And what we always remind them is you're not taking them away. There's a situation that your loved one is dealing with that is either physical or maybe a decision making that's causing that decision to take place. So that's the first thing we remind them, is that it's through no fault of anyone's. So when they think about, families are thinking about that conversation, start thinking about decision making. How quickly can they make a decision if there was a quick reaction time? Is your loved one having some impaired vision? That's a genuine need to address it. And even reflexes. We have to respond quickly in a car, and we have to be able to have full range of motion. So those are the areas that we ask our families to take a look at, perhaps talk with the doctor, and then as a family, maybe talk about it in advance so everybody's sort of on the same page before you broach that conversation. So that's sort of the starting point.
Yeah. Well, and that's one thing that you guys deal with a lot, right? Because you provide services like getting groceries or getting to a doctor appointments, different things like that. And oftentimes those reasons for the need of transportation comes from the family having removed the driver's license.
Correct. And like any of us, we would be resistant to that. That gives up our independence. It also means that we have to rely on others. I've had that experience myself for the last 4 weeks.
I know, I noticed a big booty on your foot.
Foot surgery, and my right foot, that's your driving foot. So I've had to rely on others for every little thing.
How does that feel?
It's awful.
Yeah.
It really is. I can completely understand. And so what I have recognized, this has been very insightful for me, is if I was paying someone to chauffeur me around, I probably would feel less guilty. But when you're asking someone, you know, for groceries, and then you forget one item and you have to go back to the store, I'm so sorry. It's a difficult situation, so I can really appreciate that.
What's generally going on when you talk to families, you talk to loved ones who are worried? What kinds of things are they identifying as problems where they feel the need to have a conversation about asking their aging parent or grandparent not to drive anymore?
Oftentimes it's related to their mobility. There are solutions, there are some options for them. I know occupational therapists specialize in helping people prepare for driver readiness. Aurora has 2 programs that someone can go to and address their mobility, their reflexes, and potentially regain their ability to drive. Often, the individual who's taking that class self-identifies, maybe I'm no longer safe to drive. And so that's a way to take it away from the family responsibility, and perhaps they can regain their license, but otherwise, you know, it's a way to have the individual make a decision for themselves.
And what is that? That's a class again?
It's occupational therapy. There's a driver readiness program. I know Aurora has that, but many occupational programs, therapists have those programs as well.
So if someone doesn't go through that, but you've identified, whether it's on your own or through listening to some of the things you've said, you know what, mom or dad can't drive anymore. How do you open up that conversation? Do you have a tip for that?
I do. There's a couple of ways. You can always bring in a third person, a third party to identify in a very factual, clinical way.
Do you guys do that?
And we do offer that to the families. We would come in and do that assessment. The other thing I always suggest is maybe it's the doctor. Maybe the doctor can give that suggestion. Only the Department of Motor Vehicles can actually take away someone's license, but that's usually because something significant has happened. I know there was a recent report in the Wisconsin Department of Transportation that of the crashes over age of 65, 17% were fatalities. That's pretty significant, and so their approach is be safe, not sorry.
Definitely. And getting back to a little bit of the services that you provide. So let's say somebody has this difficult conversation, they've identified some problems. Maybe the loved one in their life is willing to kind of accept or acknowledges that there's some issues and maybe they shouldn't be driving. Well, they still need to get to the grocery store. Like I remember with my grandma, it was like, she still needed to go and get a birthday card for her grandkids.
Right.
And wanted to be, you know, there's certain things that they, getting
Little
their
things.
hair cut or getting to the doctor.
Yes.
So that's where you come in and you can help make this transition easier.
Absolutely. So our employees, our caregivers, can not only drive the individual's car, and they may feel comfortable, more comfortable in their own car, or they can take that aging parent in the caregiver's car. But they can help them organize what they need to get so they're not thinking about it every day. They have a new errand to run, and take them wherever they need to go, back to the hair salon, out in this beautiful weather, out to Summerfest, wherever they'd like to go, and they don't have to rely on family.
I think it's great. And for anybody who wants more information on how to maybe approach the topic, have someone come in and help you, or even just get your options on paper, you can call Synergy Home Care at 1-844-7-WE-CARE. SynergyHomeCare.com is the website to learn more as well, and that's where you can contact Ruth. Thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. Thank
Hope
you.
your foot gets better.
Yeah, exactly.